I learn more lessons from my grandchildren than I do probably anything else in the world. Children, you gotta love them, but they're a constant challenge, aren't they? Well, I received my normal every other day phone call today from my daughter about my grandson. It seems that he's in trouble again at school. This time he's on ISS. That's some kind of internal suspension. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I just know that it means that he's in trouble. He's in school, but he can't do a lot of the other things the other kids at the school can do, especially the fun stuff. I asked her what he had done this time. It seems that the teacher went to the Atlanta Braves baseball game, and when she came back, she brought some of those red foam Tomahawks from the Atlanta Braves game back to give to the kids as gifts. Braden loved his little Tomahawk. He put it in his backpack so he could take it home and put it in his room. It seems that at some point, this other little boy in his class went into his backpack and got Braden's Tomahawk and was playing with it. Braden went up to him and asked him to give it back. When the boy refused, Braden punched him in the mouth with his fist. That's why he's in trouble. Okay, you cannot punch people in the face at school. Violence is wrong. Violence on the campus is wrong. Yes, that boy should have not gone into Braden's bag, and he shouldn't have gotten his tomahawk. You can't take people's tomahawk. Yes, the boy should have been confronted. Remember, these are 6-year-old kids we're talking about. What Braden should have done, and what they're taught to do in the school, is to go to the teacher, that is, the person in authority, and tell them what happened and let them handle it. Much like adults, we are not to take the law into our own hands, but we're to go to the authorities and to let them handle it. I encouraged my daughter to continue his punishment and to teach him the correct behavior when he got home. Now, at this point, I'm going to be honest and a little transparent here. And I know some of you are going to say, oh, that guy's terrible. He shouldn't be a preacher. I'm going to reveal my own inner struggles here, okay? There's just this little bitty part of me, just a little bit, the John Wayne part of me that goes, that a boy, son, don't let him get by with that. I know, it's wrong, it's sin. The reason this little boy probably has this kind of trouble is probably because his grandpa has a little of that inside of him that says, you can't have my tomahawk. Don't let that boy get by with that. You see, I know that it's wrong too, but this is cathartic. That means I'm writing out and talking out my sins to help me deal with them better, you see. By the time that my grandson is old enough to read this, he'll be well past that stage in life where he has to deal with this stuff. Well, maybe not. I guess it seems that this stage of life stays with us forever, doesn't it? Watch what I mean. Now, for all you spiritual people who were so shocked that I admitted there's even a little part of me that says, go get 'em, boy. Admit it. You don't like people taking your stuff either, do you? You don't like people taking advantage of you either, do you? You don't want anybody to steal from you, to lie to you, to cheat you, and the list goes on. When people step on our toes, we want to step back. Admit it all, you sinners. We want to give it back to them in full measure. Even the best of us have a little residual anger down inside of us that wants to lash back when we're hurt or abused. You don't believe me? The verse people struggle with, probably as much as any verse in the Bible, is that one about turning the other cheek. I've heard more jokes on that verse of Scripture than any in the Bible. We say things like, yeah, I'll turn the other cheek so I can see you better when I deck you upside the head. Anger, whether it's in words or deeds, is something most of us deal with all of our life. We have to learn self-control. when it comes to our emotions, especially when it comes to standing up for ourselves. Now, nobody is even intimating that we should be pacifistic and become a doormat to be walked on. Yet there are proper avenues of correction. Those don't include violence and anger. How do you do in this arena? Jesus said in Ephesians 4:26, don't sin by letting anger control you. In those words, he said, you can get angry when wrong is done, but don't let that anger or the actions of other people be a cause for you to sin. Deal with it, but deal with it appropriately and deal with it quickly. In that same verse, in the latter part, he says, don't let the sun go down while you're still angry. In other words, before that day is over with, find a just and right way to deal with your anger. Don't sleep on it. Don't brood over it. We're also admonished in the book of Psalms. Psalm 37:8 says, stop being angry. Turn from your rage. Do not lose your temper. It only leads to harm. If we don't learn to control those impulses, we're open to all kinds of dangers. Proverbs 25:28 says, a person without self-control is like a city with broken down walls. There's nothing to protect us. Yet when we do harness those emotions, we get stronger. Proverbs 16:32 says, whoever is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city. All of this insinuates that we can control those bottled up emotions. As a matter of fact, one of the promises that God gives believers is that we have a gift to be able to control it. Paul said in 1 Timothy 1:7, for God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. There it is. And then self-control is listed as one of the aspects of being filled with God's Spirit. Today I want to encourage you, and I guess my grandson, to bring those emotions and feelings to God. Ask God to help you. Ask God to give you the power to corral those feelings. Ask Him for emotional discipline. Here's a great thought for the day. Being controlled by God's Spirit means having control over my emotions. Here's a great prayer to pray today. God, help me to bring all of my feelings to you today. Help me to let you give me control over those areas and not to let them control me. God bless you.